let's go ahead and get started with our first hour guest. We are lucky, honored, and very happy to have tonight Ring of Honor's own Moose. Moose, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, baby. It's good to have you on. Appreciate you coming on and talking to us tonight on the Undisputed Wrestling Show on Angry Marks podcast. What we like to do, Moose, if it's okay with you, is we kind of like to get started with our guests on going over and explaining to our listeners their how they got their start in this wrestling business. But with you, if it's okay, my friend, let's start with some football. You played in the NFL. You did some big things. What did you start playing as a kid?
No, I started as I guess you could say I was a kid as a junior in high school. So in a sense, I guess you could say I was a kid.
Wow, junior in high school to the NFL. What? Tell us that story. How'd that work out?
That's something I wanted to do just so I could be close to my friends. Most of my friends in high school played football, so it was one of those things. I had a curfew, so if I didn't play football, I wouldn't have time to hang out with them. You know what I'm saying? So,
but where are you from?
Washington D.C.
Washington D.C. Okay, right on. What position did you play in high school?
Offensive line.
Right on. Did you play? And then you moved on to college. Where did you go?
Syracuse.
Okay, right on. And then after Syracuse, you spent some time in the NFL. Is that right?
Yeah, played 7 years total. Falcons, Colts, Patriots, Rams.
Right. When were you with the Colts?
2011, I believe. Yeah, 2011.
2000. I got a good buddy of mine who played with him for a little bit. I'm trying to think the time frame. Kenton Keith. Do you know Kenton Keith, running back?
Mm-mm.
Okay, right.
What year did he play?
I'm trying to remember. I think it might have been after that. It might have been more like 2012, 2013 that he was with the Colts. He played in the Canadian League first, and then he got picked up here in Indianapolis, and then he only played 2-3 years, and then he was done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right on, man. So what after the NFL, what made you decide to get into the crazy business of professional wrestling?
Oh, just something I've been a big fan of since I was a kid. So, I mean, sometimes I wanted to do it in the back of my mind. So, I always knew I wanted to do it. Just with the football background, it was kind of hard to actually get in it because, I mean, the NFL don't let you do anything but play football once you're in the league. So,
right. Who was you a fan of when you were growing up watching wrestling? What wrestling did you watch?
Oh, I watched everything. More WCW and WWE, but ECW. When I found out about ECW, I became a big fan of that. And I don't know, man. In 2000, I think it was 14, I heard about Ring of Honor, with stars like Daniel Bryan, which he just retired yesterday, and that was like CM Punk. So I became a fan of that too. So I pretty much watched everything, man.
Well, man. You talk about Punk and DB. Is there anyone else that was very influential in forming your fandom of pro wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, guys like Brock Lesnar, Stone Cold, and The Rock, Ric Flair, and Scott Hall. I'm a big fan of all. I mean, I'm just a big fan of the sport.
Right on. When you decided to make that jump from becoming a professional football player to professional wrestler, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about that. What was that journey like? What did you have to do, and where'd you go?
I started at this school in Atlanta, Georgia, called WWA4. It was an awesome school, and I mean, it was I'm a strong believer that if you find something that you really have passion to do, the transition to it is easy. So the transition for me getting into pro wrestling was pretty simple because I had passion for it.
Right on. Who was the trainer?
Curtis Hughes.
Curtis Hughes, right on, Mr. Hughes. And then transition into Ring of Honor. What was that like? Did you do the whole tryout thing, or how did that work out for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much normal to get to get looked at by Ring of Honor, you have to do a tryout, and I did it. 6 months into my wrestling career, not thinking I was going to get signed, but just to learn. And I actually had a pretty good trial, and they liked me, and the rest is history.
Right on, man. Right on. I'm going to kick it over to my tag team partner, Zane Paisley.
Well, once again, Moose, thanks for coming on with us. Before I ask you the first question, I want to let our fans know how to connect with you on social media. If they look up on Facebook, Moose Ojinnaka, and it's Ojinnaka. That's the best way to find your Facebook page. And on Twitter, you are Moose Nation 69. Are there any other social medias that I'm forgetting about?
No, that's it. That's it. My Instagram and my Twitter is the exact same as Moose Nation 69.
Yeah. So I think I said before our show started, during our pre-show, I got a chance to meet you here in Indianapolis with Ring of Honor. Great show. You did not do the official autograph signing time, but you did. We're hanging out around the backstage area. You were kind enough to take a picture with me. I appreciate that very much. And the picture that I took with you, it looks like we are having the best time in the world. So all my friends think that I'm close personal friends with you now. So, thank you so much for that. Your professional wrestling experience and your professional football experience, what are some of the similarities and what are some of the differences?
I mean, it's two different things. I mean, I get that question. It's kind of difficult. I mean, it's two different sports. The preparation for both sports is different. I mean, obviously football is a little bit, in my opinion, is a little bit more gritty and harder because of what you're dealing with. I mean, obviously more contact because wrestling is more entertainment, where football is more sporty, So the preparation is definitely different. You definitely have to be athletes to do both of them. I guess in wrestling you get away not being that much of an athlete more, because there's a bunch of wrestlers where there's some wrestlers I wouldn't consider athletes because their whole gimmick is more entertaining more than anything,
So you with such an athletic background, are you still on a learning curve of getting into that entertainment? You said that your trainer was Mr. Hughes, and he definitely had a great mix of both, where he could go out there and entertain the crowd and not have to do anything, as far as physicality. But then when he got into the ring or got, mixed up in things, he could take care of himself. Is that, kind of a learning curve for you?
I mean, I think that's something I picked up pretty good. Guys who watch me, it's kind of funny because I watch all these reports about, Quinn is so athletic and he does this and he does that. Where guys who really know professional wrestling would say, I don't really do much. I mean, I'm more of an entertainer than I am than I am an athlete when it comes to wrestling. Because if you really study my match, I really don't do much. I mean, when I first started, I did everything, which that's what, and that's to show with how much I've grown from when I first started with Ring of Honor. I felt like I had to do everything in my toolbox, where now it's all about just entertaining, doing what the crowd wants to see. And honestly, the crowd really don't want to see much. They just want to be entertained.
Well, and, one of the things that you've got going for you that is so great, you just have a presence about you. Obviously, you're a big guy, a huge man, 6'5", almost 300 pounds, but, you don't necessarily have to do that. But now that since you started, we know that you can do everything you can in the ring. So, you don't have to put on that show every single night as far as the physicality. So I think that's a great thing about you. Now, last year you were awarded the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Rookie of the Year. Did that mean a whole lot to you?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even know about it, honestly. I didn't think it was a real big thing until a couple of days ago, really, where I saw some of the names who've been awarded that award, who have gotten that award. And you got guys like Ric Flair and Dusty Rhodes and Goldberg. I was like, man, I thought it was just something a couple of guys. I didn't know it was from PWI. I just thought it was something like just a couple of guys decided to do, and I was like, hey, let's make a award. So I didn't really think much about it until I found out it was something from PWI, which is a real notable source.
Yeah, they've been around forever, and they've been kind of the authority as far as print media goes for a very long time for professional wrestling. So that I think that's a huge honor for you and very cool. Now, since you've been in Ring of Honor last couple years, who are some of the guys that have taken you under their wing to help you out in the world of professional wrestling?
Pretty much the whole roster, man. Like everybody in the roster, especially some of the older guys like Lethal and the Briscoes, they're real helpful to me. One thing we do there, we watch everybody's match to give pointers and tips on things they could do better in their match. So I think that's why you see some of the best wrestling when Ring of Honor comes to town, because we all help each other.
Well, I would definitely agree with that. As I said, I had a chance to see you in Indianapolis recently. It was a great event, and it doesn't need all the hoopla that's going to a WWE type show would be. But I did see that they are upping their game. Have you seen the new background that they have for their entryway? Were you there in the Nashville show?
Yeah, I was there. I mean, it just shows how much Ring of Honor has grown.
Yeah, it was amazing. How is it working with the new network?
What, Comet?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know too much about it. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm one of the talents, so I don't know too much. That's a question you will have to ask some of the offense guys. I mean, from my standpoint, I think it's going great, but I really wouldn't know. I mean, all I do is just do the shows, you know.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. Did you have a chance to watch the Super Bowl on Sunday night?
I actually fell asleep on it. I watched the first half of it and then I dozed off.
Well, you don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but did you see the part where Cam Newton went for he had fumbled the ball, got the ball stripped from him, and he backed away from it?
I mean, I think I saw that.
What did you think about it? And I know you're a Cam Newton fan, and I'm not trying to say anything bad about him personally, but what did you think as an O-lineman?
I mean, I don't know what his judgment was on. I mean, I'm not going to bad talk him. I mean, I'm not going to bad talk him. Who knows what he was thinking? I mean, if that was me, I would have dove in there to get the ball. But, I mean, you never know what the guy's thinking. I mean, he probably didn't want to get hurt, which, if that's the case, I totally understand that. I mean, because it's one of those situations where, let's say he would have dove for that ball and broke his leg, then everybody would have been like, oh, he's an idiot for diving for that ball. But now that he didn't do it, then everybody's saying like he's selfish. So it's one of those things where, I mean, he didn't dive for it. He probably thought he was going to get hurt, which if that's the case, then that's smart thinking. I mean, the way I look at it, if he was scared of getting hurt, which he thought he was going to get hurt, that's smart thinking because, I mean, there's always going to be chances to play other Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So you got to look at it for what it is. I mean, there's a positive to it, there's a negative to it, but at the end of the day, nobody knows what he was thinking when he didn't dive for the ball.
Well, you being one of the guys that was in the NFL and have much more understanding of that than I ever will. So I will trust your judgment on it. May of last year, you competed a little bit with Global Force Wrestling, and you took on, I know at one of the events, one of Drew and I's friends, Steve Wilson, Congo Kong. How was it working with Congo?
It was great, man. I've worked him so many times. He's definitely a real good unsigned talent, and hopefully he gets picked up by somebody soon.
Yeah. But what's kind of the difference in the locker rooms between Dragon Gate and Global Force and Ring of Honor? Are they pretty much the same, or is there, more of a camaraderie, professionalism, or anything like that within any of those locker rooms?
I mean, it all depends on who you know. I mean, I'm one of those guys, I'm cool with everybody, so I'm treated pretty good by everybody. So you gotta understand, a lot of these locker rooms use the same guys, So I get that question all the time. is a very hard answer because a lot of these locker rooms use the same guys. Like, for instance, Dragon Gate and Evolve pretty much use the same guys. I mean,
yeah, I can see.
But I do. I mean, for Ring of Honor's locker room, it's awesome. I mean, I love the guys there, and we're all like a family.
Well, that's excellent. That's excellent. I'm going to kick it back over to Drew Skills. Drew, what else do you have for Moose?
Moose, going back a little bit to your transitioning and those type of things. What was one of the hardest things for you in starting your pro wrestling career going from football? Obviously athleticism and things like that, like you talked about earlier. But did you have any challenges when switching over? I know, like you said, the physicality is much different in football than it is in pro wrestling. What was some of the biggest challenges you found?
It wasn't, honestly, the transition to football to wrestling was pretty easy. I mean, I didn't really get any challenges. It wasn't really no challenge. Everything came easy. I mean, I think it's one of those things, since I have a huge passion for it, that it came easy. So, I mean, I guess the big challenge was driving 50 minutes to the training academy every day. But everything in ring was easy.
Right on. What do you think some of the things that you picked up the fastest from were?
What did I pick? How to work with a crowd.
Right on. The entertainment aspect?
Yeah.
Good deal. What you've done so much in such a short matter of time. What's some of your goals? What is it that you want to see? Where's Moose going to be in 5 years?
Well, hopefully still wrestling. I usually don't set long 5-year goals. I mean, I set short-term goals, and honestly, a bunch of my short-term goals are always the same. It's just get better. Every time I step into the ring, I want to be better than the last time I was in the ring. So if I could keep on that track, then in 5 years I'll be a real good wrestler.
Well,
I hate when guys say, "Oh, in 5 years I want to be the Ring of Honor champ." I mean, I feel like that's being a champ. I don't know. My views on that is just different. I mean, I'd rather say in 5 years I want to be better than I was today than to,
Right. I get it, man.
Just because I don't have a title in my waist in 5 years, that don't mean I haven't gotten better. So it's just one of those things. A realistic goal for me is every time I step into the ring, I want to be better than I was the last time I was in the ring.
I totally get it. Well, as far as getting in the ring, who are some of the guys that you've enjoyed, some of your favorite matches?
As of now, I've wrestled Elgin a few times. Every time I step in the ring with Elgin, it's always fun. I actually have a big match coming up in a couple of weeks against Okada in our next pay-per-view. So I would say right now, Elgin has been my most fun opponent. Maybe Ricochet, because we tore it up a few months back. But I can't wait to step in the ring with against Okada. I think that's gonna be a fun one. Yeah,
that'd be a good one, man. You guys amazing.
Yeah, that event with Okada is going to be in Vegas in a couple weeks, and that's going to be on iPay-per-view, correct? And regular pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
That's Friday, February 26th. That'd be 6 p.m. Pacific Standard, so out in Vegas it's at 6 o'clock, but us guys over here on the West Coast.
I think it's 9 p.m. in Vegas and 6 p.m. here, right?
No, I think it's reversed. I think it's earlier start out there and then 9 p.m. on the East Coast.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's 9 p.m. on the East Coast and 6 p.m. there. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. So, and you're heading out to New Japan too, aren't you?
Yeah, I actually leave Tuesday for that.
That's amazing. Have you ever worked out there before?
No, this will be not for wrestling, for football. I have. I've been in Japan for football, but never been. This will be my first time going to Japan, period, for wrestling. So I'm excited about it.
Now, are you a fan of the Ribera Steakhouse?
I've heard about it. I've never been. So hopefully I could go and get a jacket. That would be awesome.
Please, if you go there, make sure to take a picture of you with your jacket on and post it on social media. Would love to see that.
Okay, I definitely would do it.
Excellent, excellent. Now here in Indianapolis, you took on Silas Young, and who was the other guy in the three-way match that you had? I'm sorry, I
It
can't
was
remember.
ACH, I think.
ACH, incredible talent in that Ring of Honor locker room. Have you and Cheeseburger ever thought about forming a tag team to take on War Machine?
Oh, I mean, we've tagged a couple of times. I don't know if it's going to be one of those situations where it will be a long-term thing, but we have tagged before. I think a couple of times.
Well, I would love to see a Moose Burger T-shirt available from Ring of Honor. I think that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I think. I love tagging with Cheeseburger. It's always entertaining. So hopefully it's something that we could do more often.
Yes, definitely. So what other, do you have anything going on this weekend?
Now this weekend is actually an off day, so I get to hang out with the family some, and then Tuesday I get to leave for Japan.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now I mentioned T-shirts from Ring of Honor, but our listeners can go to Pro Wrestling Tees and get T-shirts from you, correct?
Yeah, Pro Wrestling Tees /Moose. And they can see all the shirts I have to offer there, and hopefully they can support Moose Nation and pick up one.
Well, two of my favorite are the Moose Man, which is the Batman logo with the moose, big antlers on there. I think that's great. And tell us about the Dropkick City T-shirt.
Obviously, Brock Lesnar started that with Suplex City, and it was just a fun spoof from it. And it's been selling a lot.
Well, that is great. It's a great looking T-shirt. You've got 11 T-shirts available on there, so that's great. Now, one of them is the pink ribbon shirt. Is there a special connection to you and breast cancer awareness?
Oh yeah, I made that shirt. My mom actually was diagnosed with breast cancer early this year, or later last year. So I made that shirt. So whatever I get from it, I send it to her to help her with some of her doctor's bills.
Excellent, excellent. I'm going to kick it over. Our fearless leader, Q Ball Carmichael, has joined us on the show. Q, what do you have for Moose, Ring of Honor star Moose?
Yeah, I got to tell you, Moose, hey, it's nice talking with you, buddy. Are you from the D.C. area originally?
Yeah, I am. I'm born and raised, actually.
I spent 18 years in Alexandria, Virginia, and worked in D.C. every day, man. It's a great city. Yeah, it's a great city. My oldest daughter is 30. She lives in Woodbridge, right down the road, and was raised in Alexandria too. So I love the D.C. area. There's so much to do and see there, and so many good people. Let me ask you a question. Where did you go to college at, Moose?
Syracuse.
Well, interesting fact. I knew that's a loaded question. I'm originally from 30 miles down the road, a little town called Portland, New York. So been to Syracuse. Cool. Yeah, it's right on 81. So if you ever drove home, you probably went right by it. And but Syracuse is a great school, great football program. Donovan McNabb came out of there, who was one of my favorites, and just a great program. Now, did you get drafted?
Yeah, fifth round.
Fifth round? And where did you go to? Where did you end up at after the draft? Did you do any trades, or where did you start your NFL?
No, I got drafted to Atlanta.
I got to compliment you, Moose, because, with the exception of guys like Wahoo McDaniel and Manny Fernandez and a few others, a lot of guys, and I'm going to tell you some names I bet you know. Do you remember Monty Coleman for the Redskins? Well, you're probably a little too young. But Monty Coleman was a defensive back for the Redskins during their 80s heyday. And then there was a special teams player named Reggie Branch. I ran a wrestling school in Alexandria, Virginia. And I trained Christian York and, of course, Joey Mercury and a few other guys. And they came and wanted to train. And I told them, I knew Monty from his hunting and fishing store. I told him I didn't want to take a deposit until they trained. And my typical thing back then is I would have a guy bump 50 or 60 times, tell him to take some Motrin, and I'll see you in 2 days. And they didn't show up. They came back the third day, and I said, Bonnie, and he couldn't turn his neck, so he turned his whole body to look at me. He said, man, he goes, this training is a little bit harder than I thought. I said, well, it's just different. So I want to compliment you on making the transition and doing a great job on that from the NFL to professional wrestling.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think, I think you got a great career in front of you. You got an incredible look. You're a big guy. And you know what? To me, it's always impressive when I see a big guy move. You know, I wrestled King Kong Bundy probably 50 times, and in his prime, he could move like a cat. But brother, you can move for a big dude, man. That's really, really impressive. Typically, when you expect that big, you see slow, but man, you're really good in there, really quick and sharp.
Appreciate that.
Now, did you train in Baltimore?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, you trained for wrestling in Atlanta?
Yeah.
Who did you train with?
Curtis Hughes.
Oh, he's a buddy of mine, a big cat. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, he was he's a great guy, and he's a great trainer. He gets it, man. And I've known probably half a dozen people that trained with him, and he just does a great job with people. And he's old school, and you can see that in the way that you work, which for me is probably the best compliment I could give somebody. So, you know, I think you're doing a great job. I know you're going to get signed to offered at least to a bigger organization probably soon. And, I just think once again, it's a testament to you as a person because, I'm pretty active in social media and in connection with pretty much everybody in the business who's been around a while. And, everybody has said nothing but great things about you, not just as a wrestler, but as a person. And that goes a long way. That's from being raised right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just
thanks
think
a lot, man. I definitely appreciate the kind words.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you earn those words by your actions. So, there's some people I'm not so kind to on the show, but, I think you're doing a great thing. And I think that, you made a tremendous transition, and I know it can be difficult. And you're used to killing people. Now you got to make it look like you're killing people without killing them.
Right.
So that's the art form of it. But I want to wish you luck in Japan. Who are you going over for?
New Japan.
Oh, beautiful. Best place to go. Good luck. Now, this is the first time you've actually wrestled in Japan, though, right?
Yeah, first time.
Yeah. I think you're going to get a huge reception over there, man. I think they're going to absolutely love you. They've always loved the bigger guys and the guys with the look and the guys that can move. So I think you're going to have an incredible tour over there and really enjoy yourself while you're there. So, I just want to wish you a lot of luck, and I don't think you need it. I don't believe in luck. I think that's what people who don't succeed use as an excuse to say that they didn't succeed. So, I want to wish you well in your future and keep doing what you're doing, brother. You're doing a fantastic job out there. People are impressed with you as a person, as a wrestler, and that goes a long way. So, I hope you have a fantastic time in Japan. Next time we talk, you'll have to let us know how it went.
All right, cool, man. I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I have a 6-year-old, and I got to put in this.
You want to do any social media plugs or where we can find you at, Moose? Any shows coming up?
Yeah. I actually have nothing coming up this weekend. I'm going to Japan Tuesday, and right after the Japan trip is the pay-per-view. So, pretty much busy with Ring of Honor for the end of the month. And, my Twitter is Moose Nation 69 and Instagram Moose Nation 69.
Beautiful, brother.
That pay-per-view is Friday, February 26th, live from Las Vegas. And you're going to be taking on Okada. Is that the first night or the second night that you're taking on Okada?
That's the first night.
That I cannot wait for that.
Yeah.
I know you get your 6-year-old to bed. So thank you so much for coming on with us tonight. We really appreciate it. We look forward to talking with you in the future and watching your career.
Yeah, Steve Carino said good luck and be safe.
Oh, tell him I said hi.
I will. I'll talk to him every day, so I'll let him know.
All right.
God bless, brother. Talk soon.
All right.
Be safe.
All right, bye.
Thanks, Moose. Well, guys, I apologize. I had to completely remove Skype and re-download it. So.
Oh, I've been there before. Been there before.
Oh,